Good afternoon, everybody.
Good
You're
afternoon.
welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kudirat, and I have another guest on the Career Path show for today. So let us know our guests.
Okay, good afternoon, Madam Kudirat, and I'm glad to be part of your channel. My name is Alice Bimbo Notunji. I'm currently a PhD candidate at the University of Freiburg, Germany, where I'm working on forest policy and regional organization. For my education background, I have a long journey, but to make it short is I had my university degree at the University of Ilorin, the Better by Far University. I am from
Kwara
Oyo
State.
State. Yes. So I did a Bachelor's of Forestry and Wildlife. I completed the study in 2018. So, and for my master's, I did Erasmus Mundus master's degree program in Mediterranean forestry and natural resources management
Hmm.
at the University of Lleida in Spain and the University of Padua in Italy. So now I am working towards a PhD degree in forestry. So it's nice to be here.
So the next question will be why forestry? Do you have any another plan earlier before studying forestry, or you just wanted forestry?
Yes, I didn't want to study forestry. It wasn't my plan. I had other plans, but maybe I will do a little bit of addition to your YouTube channel by sharing the screen to
Okay,
tell
you're
you a
allowed.
little bit of my own story. So
Okay.
my father himself wanted me to be a doctor. So he thought I was a brilliant student. I was studying at School of Science Secure at that time. So he thought, okay, you are very good. You could be a doctor, but there's one thing I hate, blood. Till today, I
Oh,
still blood.
okay.
So then by the time I finished my secondary school, I had dream of studying my desired course in the university. And I always had and to have a girlfriend.
In the
So
university.
yes,
Okay. Interesting.
let's see if I ended up having one. So
Okay.
in 2011, I wrote UTME. I passed. So I passed for the cut-off for the electrical engineering program at FUNAB, Federal University of Agric, Abeokuta. And for the post-UTME examination, I did not reach the post-UTME exam score for
Hmm.
electrical engineering. And therefore, I was not admitted into any program. At the time, I had someone who wanted to help me, but they said the university regulation is if so that time I was a little bit arrogant. Let me use the word arrogant because when they gave us option to pick first choice and second choice, I picked electrical engineering, electrical
Electrical
engineering.
engineering. I did.
So when I did not meet the cutoff mark, there was no point.
There was no option. Okay.
So uh, that was let me say it was arrogant or it was overzealousness.
Maybe, maybe, maybe ignorance sometimes.
Yeah, okay, yes, maybe ignorance. In
Yeah,
any case,
because not knowing the consequences of our actions sometimes.
yes, because it was at the point when I did not score the minimum mark for the electrical engineering. Then they asked me, what did you choose for your second
Yes.
course? And I said, it's still the same course.
The
And I said,
same.
why did you do it that way? So
Mm-hmm.
since that time, I think I've learned to create some options.
Exactly. Plan B.
Okay. So
Okay.
after my art talks with FUNAP, so in that same year, I got other admissions to College of Forestry, Ibadan. So I got admission to study wood and paper technology, a national diploma, and I studied between 2011 and 2013. So as at the time too, I got admission into Federal College of Education, Oshiele, in Abeokuta.
Okay,
I
I believe
also
it.
got, yes, I also
Mm.
got a pre-degree admission to Lautech.
Ah, wow.
So I think I just add that law, but I chose wood and paper technology because I didn't want to be a teacher, and I don't want to go and start PhD degree at that time. So then in 2014, I applied for university. So again, at University of Ilorin, I applied for computer and information science. By the time I was in College of Forestry, but I discovered that I like pressing computer. So
Mm.
I thought the next best thing was to continue pressing that computer.
Computer. Mm.
And also, I think one of the admission criteria that I really liked at that time is that as of 2014 already, University of Ilorin requires that a bachelor's degree in computer science student must resume with a laptop.
Oh,
So I wanted,
must.
yes.
Mm.
So if you get the admission, for them to do clearance for you, you must come with a laptop that you will write your name to prove that you are the owner. So it was quite a practical kind of course. Then for my direct entry, I remember that day my dad came to me and like, okay, why not apply for your direct entry since you have your diploma? Why not have two options? So I applied for direct entry in forestry. Lo and behold, the admission came. So for the forestry, I got Bachelor's of Forestry and Wildlife. And for my computer science, again, I got primary education studies.
Instead of
So
computer science.
yes. So
Mm.
my reason for not choosing the forestry was like maybe a known devil is better than an unknown angel. That since I already had wood and paper technology background, so maybe to continue in forestry, maybe
Be the
that's my
best.
lot.
Better.
So um in 2014, so in December 2014, so I have a discussion with Dr. Fola Babalola, now a professor,
Okay.
approximately 10 minutes.
Mm.
I still remember the place. It was at the stairway of our department. So there was
Mm.
a building upstairs in our own department. So at the staircase, I just saw one man and I was like, are you also a student in this department? He isn't tall, he's not big. So he now showed me his ID card and said, oh, I'm a staff. I was like,
You
oh, you're a
you
staff.
asked you asked them if he was a student. Okay.
Yes, I asked him if he was a student. He said no. Then he began to explain forestry for me and said, you with this forestry, you can do this, you can do that.
Mm.
So I think that was one of the best 10 minutes of my life. So
Mm.
all the things he told me that day, then I began to build my profile and begin to contribute to the sector. So
Nice.
that is how I ended up in forestry. But by the grace of God, I had privilege of doing a little bit more than
Let's hear.
just
Let's hear
finishing it.
more.
Okay. So in 2015, it was the year of creation. We created the Nigeria Society for Environmental Conservation with Konde Ahmed and others. Konde Ahmed now is running up his PhD, I think in Concord University or Concordia University in Canada. So
Mm.
we also started the University of Ilorin Forest Student Association. So I
Yeah.
was the vice president and I was the head of the constitution drafting committee. So in 2016, we registered with IFSA. We hosted the meeting conference of that organization, NSEC. By 2017, we created the Forestry Student Association of Nigeria, now defunct because um, we faced a lot of obstacles at the time and we could not continue. So in 2017, I was in Ghana, and in Ghana, we bidded to host NAM 2018. So I'd like to
Mm.
appreciate my friends, Ayo, Esther, Ifeoluwa, and Sheyi, who were my classmates, who encouraged me to complete the application because as at the time I was like, maybe we should just rest. But they said, Alex, we can do it, let's do it. And we applied and we win. So in
Mm.
2018, we hosted NAM 2018 in Ilorin. And by hosting it, we had about 500 students attending the opening ceremony of NAM, maybe the largest gathering of students of IFSA till today about forestry. The largest gathering of IFSA students as at today. I mean, of
You did not.
students, yes. So 500 people attended the opening ceremony and about 100 people attended the entire program. So in 2018 also, I became the Northern African Regional Representative of IFSA. And after then, by 2019, while I was doing my NYC, I conducted the Nigeria study on the global outlook in forest education with my friend Ayola. Then also, I was appointed the IFSA coordinator of the Joint Afro-IFSA Task Force on Forest Education.
Nice.
So,
You have
I
a
think,
long and interesting story. It's been a long journey, actually.
yes. So,
Yeah.
let's see what was done in other years. In 2020, I was working with the Young African Forestry Professionals Publication Project. So in this project, we wrote a book and it has been published in 2021 and has been distributed to um, more than 25, 30 countries in Africa. The PDF is available free of charge. It's talking about forestry careers and opportunities, networking organizations. It talks about the stories of people who have succeeded in the sector, as students, recent graduates, lecturers who have provided good quality mentorship to their students. So it was an opportunity in doing this. I was also part of NSEC, AFWC. Then in 2021, we published the book. Then I became also head of, so the first, I think I was the first African who was the head of Forest Europe Subcommission in IFSA.
Hmm.
So because I was based
First,
in Europe, maybe I
first
believe,
African.
yes, I think I should be one because the position is reserved for people who are in Europe and I was in Europe.
Okay.
So I was able to apply for it and we did a lot of program. I was even part of their Forest Europe Green Job Expert Group. So in 2022, again, too many things. So by 2022, we
Yeah.
go for conference in Sweden. The book was launched in 4 universities in 3 African countries. I provided support to people who went to COP15. I was also speaker at IFSA roundtable session. So, and by 2023 and 2024 now, I am undergoing a PhD degree at the University of Freiburg, Germany. And support for this research is provided by the German Research Foundation. So that's my long forestry story.
That's your story. A unique
Yes.
one. So my next question would be that for all these opportunities, what particular skill or part of your educational history do you think gave you this opportunity? Like part of your education, do you think has really worked for you?
I think my bachelor's degree really gave me a solid ground because since that 10-minute discussion I said I had with
Yeah.
Professor Fola, so I begin to tailor my life towards the things I want to do next. So, like when I was in my bachelor's, I knew I wanted to do a master's, and I knew I wanted to do it in Europe. And when I was doing while I was applying for masters, I knew I wanted to do a PhD. So I kind of prepare for these opportunities in advance. So
Okay.
before I applied to become IFSA regional representative, for instance, I applied 3 times. So it was on the third
Hmm.
time. So all like that I was
But because
selected.
people love to hear stories, good stories, good stories. So
Yes.
most times
So
we need to put in how many times we've tried so that they know
yes.
that.
So for the IFSA representative, I won and I mean, it took 3 times for me to get that position. So I tried applying in 2017. Then in 2018, we did the first election. Then somebody signed out. Then they conducted a new election. Then I now won. So it's a lot of, but one
Efforts
thing is
and
that, yes, but one thing that keeps me moving is that I try to self-motivate myself and put things in perspective that I'm not the only one who's competing for this position. And therefore, uh, I need to find a way to stand out. So one of my own key kind of secret is that I always like to tailor my applications, my documents to every single application I'm writing. So the only thing that kind of remain in all the things I write is my
Your
name.
personal information.
Yes, but I try to customize these motivation letters, including CV. I
Mhm.
customize it to the job, to the opportunity I'm applying for. So I don't just have one CV and send
One
it to
CV and
several
just
people.
apply. No, it's not going to work.
So for every opportunity you see that I apply for, I draft almost, I have to repackage the CV to tell them that you are looking for somebody, I am the best person to do it. For all these opportunities, they comes at some cost, a lot of rejections. Sometimes you even get some opportunity, like I was to go to South Africa in 2020. FAO booked my accommodation, booked my flight, booked this, booked that. They were even planning to pay me stipends, but the South African embassy rejected my visa application on the
One
day
of
the event
one of the
started.
issues.
So, but I did not give up. I still tried other opportunities. So today now, I've been able to attend different programs, events,
In
and
different
organize a
countries.
lot of them. Yes. So in last month, we were in Sweden for the IFRO International IFRO 2025 up 2024 Congress. So it was a nice time in Sweden. And so it kind of take you need to self-motivate yourself, ask help from others. Like one of my when I was applying for masters, there was one motivation letter I wrote that I sent to about six different scholars or more to review it for me. So I write it in advance. So until now, maybe now that I don't need much help in reviewing the letters, but as at the time I have to review the letters, I have to write it in advance. For me, I don't like asking my referee to give me letter for something that will close in 3 days. I don't do it. So I have a minimum deadline for my own self. So if I need a letter from my what's it called referees, I think I usually give them at least 1 month notice.
Before the
So
application deadline.
yes. So if something is closing tomorrow, I don't bother to apply for it.
Which aspects are you really into?
Ah, okay. Previously, I've been interested in forest education and employment.
Okay.
So, because I feel like we have quite a lot of people studying forestry in Africa, but many of these people, we really don't know what this forestry career entails. Many of us find ourselves in this position, like my good friend in Uganda, Amos, who eventually became IFSA president, applied to study medicine in Uganda and was admitted to study
Okay, it
forestry.
happens, it even happens in other African countries.
Yes, because the one you apply for is competitive or
Mm-hmm.
there is no more space in it. So you feel like, okay, and many people get surprised when they get their admission letter into forestry and and they say, oh, what is forestry? What can I do with this degree? And everybody's like, you can do and you can work anywhere. Yes,
Anywhere
there's,
in the world.
there's some element of truth, but it's also
Depends on you.
so it's also a lot of so there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of things we need to
Mm-hmm.
understand about this degree. Where is this degree being offered? How many students do we have? So for me, I see that there's a lot of opportunity in forest education, um, employment research. But at the moment, I'm working on forest policy and governance, international forest policy and governance. So my professor is Professor Daniela Klinschimt, who is a professor of international forest policy and governance, and who also doubles as the current International Union of Forest Research Organization president.
Oh, Afro presidents.
Yes, and the first female president of IFRO.
Oh, congratulations.
So,
That's huge.
so And now I'm looking at regional organizations such as ECOWAS, ECAS, COMIFAC, and how they're making forest policies, why they're
Hmm.
making it, and why they're not making it. So, and if they make it, what is the content of what they make? So,
If they are not, why they
so
are not making it?
yes, and I also have a second supervisor, Professor Diana
Okay.
Panke, who is at Free University of Berlin in Berlin. So I'm glad to be working in this topic at this moment.
Hmm. Thank you so much for your interesting and wonderful story. My next question would be that how will you advise a fresh undergraduate who recently got an admission offer to study forestry, but very confused and frustrated?
I would advise such people not to kind of be in a despair mode. And why? Is that there are more information now about forestry career than when we started in 2014.
Mm,
As at 2014, there was one book about forestry career, which was written in America or somewhere else, not written
mm.
for an African context. In fact, my professor only had a photocopy of that book, not even the original book.
Okay.
But now, today, we have a book on building a successful forestry career in
Mhm.
Africa, inspirational stories and opportunities. So this information is available online. There are so many documents regarding forest career online these days, whether they apply to an African context, to a Nigeria context, to an Uganda or Kenya context,
Or, or
or
even
to
the
a global
global.
kind of context.
Mhm.
So I'll say don't despair, seek for information. Two, seek for mentorship. Three, forestry is very wide. Know what you like and what kind of pique your interest. There's one thing I can say boldly is that since I've been doing forestry, there's one thing I don't like. I don't like laboratory experiments. It's one part of forestry that if you say, oh, come and do good science tomorrow and put one chemical and we one thing, I don't just like it. So I like the social aspect of forestry. Some people like the environmental aspect of forestry. Some people like the economic
The tech,
aspect of
the tech
forestry.
parts. Mhm.
Some like tech, like my good friend Mesa Kadirele, who is into coding and drawing map
Yeah,
and the rest. So there's so many aspects of forestry. So the earlier you determine which part you want to focus, the better.
better.
Then when opportunity meet preparation, that is when it become a success. Or so you need to prepare for these opportunities. So, and the earlier you decide that you want to do something good with this degree, the better it
Mm.
is for you. I know that recently you interviewed Samuel Fagano.
Yeah,
You can see so many big things Samuel is doing. But if you look at it and say, oh, look at his age, look at his he just finished NYC and soon he will be starting his master's. I feel like, oh, all these things. And it's also Nigerian. It's the same green passport we carry, he carries,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
he's working with international organizations, earning dollars in Nigeria. So as a fresh graduate. So in fact, he started before he finished graduation, he
yeah.
started
I
earning.
started volunteering and
Now you can see that it is possible to kind of succeed early, not waiting and say, until I finish, let me just complete this degree. There are many things you can tap into as a student now. Then also, if you, so why I made my own decision was that in 2019, if you remember, as part of my story, I said we conducted the global outlook on forest education, the
yeah.
Nigerian study. So one of the person I interviewed that time, he was bitterly complaining that he could not find a job, the degree is
Okay.
useless, he had a bachelor's, he had a master's. He said, Alex, today I cannot use my degree certificate to put food on my table, that all the things I'm doing now are unrelated to the degree I did. So there and then that day, I decided that if everybody is complaining about this degree, that it is bad, it is this, I have decided that I will make good use of it, and I am going to do my best with that same degree. So,
Degree.
so it
Mm.
was a kind of intentional decision. Like when I started studying forestry, my dad is like, "Do you want to become a shoppo?" More like forest warden, people that did certificate
Mm,
course or 6 months training, compared to me that did 4, 5 years degree. So I
mm,
was like, no, that's not the kind of thing I want to do.
mm,
So the earlier you decide and say, this certificate or this degree I am doing, I want to make the best use of it, the better it will be for you.
to be for
So I
you.
think that is my own something. Don't bury your talent. For
Mm.
those who are Christians, they know the story of the person who received one talent and went and buried it. So the master he said, "You are a wicked person, so I buried your talent." He did not even put it in bank to yield interest. So maybe forestry is just your own talent, and so don't bury it.
Mm. So my very last question is that what general advice do you have for parents? Encouragement works a lot for parents and government. What advice
Okay.
do you have for? Yeah.
For parents, if your child starts studying forestry, or for one way or the other, your child receive an admission letter and they say forestry, don't be in the, don't think that is the end of the world. Forestry have taken places have taken people to so many places that doctors, engineers, uh, pharmacists may not be able to go. So many opportunities, so many privileges. Forestry people work in international organization, international non-governmental organization. I know somebody who studied forestry, and last time I was speaking to the person said she's earning more than a 1 million naira in the same Nigeria with the same forestry
Mm.
degree. So
Possible.
and that means that if she is doing it, it is possible for others. Yes,
Yeah.
these opportunities are small in numbers, but if
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
target it and say, this is what I want to do, you can be the best of whom you want to be. So I would say there is hope.
There is hope for the government.
For the government, we need to invest more money in our education sector. We
Mm.
need to improve our curriculum. Most of our curriculums are quite outdated and they are not meeting current trends. So we need also manpower. In our universities, we have so many lecturers. I mean, we have so many students compared to the ratio of lecturers. This can
Yeah.
impact the quality of education. The government should also know that when we are training people for forestry, they are going to provide support for our countries in the sense that with forestry, when there is forest, foresters have a job to do to manage it. With forestry, when there is no forest, foresters have a job to do to plant it.
Mm.
So in either way, they are needed. So either to manage or to plant new ones and manage it. So because for example now our forest cover in Nigeria is quite low and we need to plant trees. So the capacity that we need, we have them. We should make good use of them and kind of see how to improve our sector to reduce brain drain. So,
Mm.
because that's one thing I'm also concerned about, that many people who study forestry who are doing bright and very good, many of them have left Nigeria, and it's kind of sad that we couldn't contribute much to our own country because there are no opportunities. So it's kind of hard. So, but let
Yes.
the government
It
see
is.
what
It
they
is.
can do.
Yeah, that was in depth and insightful. Thank you so much for the wonderful conversation. And I hope our listeners share and subscribe to the channel. See you next time for another episode. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
Alex.
Bye.